In the fall of 1841, atop the towering granite dome of Enchanted Rock, sacred to the Comanche for millennia, a lone Texas Ranger, Jack Coffee Hayes, braced against a crevice, his rifle and revolvers trained on 20 to 30 warriors charging to claim his scalp. Arrows sliced the air, and war cries shattered the stillness as he fired to hold his ground. This clash, documented in J.W. Wilbarger's Indian Depredations in Texas, 1889, reflects the brutal frontier where over 1,000 Comanche warriors fell to Texans by 1850 per SC, Gwynn's Empire of the Summer Moon, 2010. Yet, from this violent divide, how did a Comanche chief come to honor Hayes's newborn son with a golden spoon? Join us to unravel a story of conflict, survival, and unexpected respect on a contested frontier. In the fall of 1841, a band of 15 to 20 surveyors, sent by the newly formed Republic of Texas, trekked through the jagged hill country near modern Fredericksburg, 95 miles west of Austin. Their steel chains clinking as they marked land grants. Each step invited danger, for this was no ordinary frontier, it was the stronghold of the Comanche, whose raids struck terror from Denver to Mexico City. Surveying ranked among the deadliest tasks of the era, with over half of such parties never returning, as J.W. Wilbarger documents in Indian Depredations in Texas, 1889, citing a 1840 ambush near San Antonio where Comanche warriors slaughtered 2 surveyors and routed the rest. The Comanche, self-named N-Num, or the people, were called Comanche by rivals Apache, Waco, Tonkawa, drawing from a Ute term for those who fight us all the time. Once a Shoshone offshoot scraping by in the Rockies' harsh peaks, they were pushed south to the Texas and Oklahoma plains by 1700, displaced by tribes like the Blackfeet. Their fortunes shifted with horses, acquired through raids and trade despite Spanish bans. By 1750, they rivaled the world's finest cavalry, as Pekka Hämäläinen notes in The Comanche Empire, 2008. Warriors commanded herds of 50 to 100 horses each, with bands totaling 30,000 to 40,000 animals by 1820 per SC. Gwynn's Empire of the Summer Moon, 2010, fueling a buffalo hunting economy that made them North America's wealthiest tribe. This power turned them into a juggernaut, driving Apache from Texas by the 1760s and halting Spanish, French, Mexican, and American advances for 2 centuries. Their warfare, devoid of rigid structure, relied on war chiefs rallying volunteers for swift, deadly raids under full moons termed Comanche moons for their devastating night strikes that left homesteads in flames. Mexico lured 20,000 Anglo settlers by 1835 as a buffer, demanding Catholicism and citizenship, yet raids and disease claimed up to half. With 20,000 to 45,000 people and 8,000 warriors, the Comanche shadowed survey teams, viewing them as invaders of sacred hunting grounds and unleashing brutal ambushes, often sparing none. Undeterred, Texas dispatched these groups northwest of San Antonio to map its claims, drawing young men from Virginia, Kentucky, and beyond, eager for post-1836 Revolution glory. Their mission led them to Enchanted Rock, a 425-foot granite monolith, revered for 11,000 years as a spiritual site where tribes offered sacrifices. Incursions here sparked unrelenting Comanche fury, yet these surveyors pressed on, their tools and courage poised against a land that answered with arrows and war cries. These surveyors ranked among the era's most heavily armed, their belts heavy with .36 caliber. Colt Patterson revolvers patented by Samuel Colt in 1836 and upgraded from .28 to 36 caliber in 1837 for greater stopping power. Each held 5 shots in a cylinder that demanded disassembly for reloading, weighing 2 pounds 12 ounces with a 9-inch barrel that delivered lethal accuracy up to 65 yards in the chaos of mounted clashes. For distant threats, they shouldered .42 caliber percussion cap rifles, like the Hawken models favored on the frontier. Single-shot muzzleloaders sparked by mercuric fulminate caps, firing 3 to 4 rounds per minute with precision to 150 yards, outpacing the unreliable flintlocks of old. Such innovations arrived just in time for the Texans, arming surveyors often pulled from the Texas Rangers, a force birthed by Stephen F. Austin in the early 1830s as the mounted rifles to fend off Mexican incursions, banditry, and relentless indigenous raids. Formalized in 1835 as a unique blend of military and law enforcement, the Rangers honed skills in brutal close-quarters fights and grueling pursuits, their tales spreading from dusty prairies to refined eastern drawing rooms. Yet glory came at a steep price. Casualty rates climbed to 50%, as SC On tells. Gwynn details an Empire of the Summer Moon, 2010, with many recruits vanishing into the wilderness. From this hardened cadre emerged Captain John Coffee Hayes, born in 1817 in Little Cedar Lick, Tennessee, to a father who fought in the War of 1812 and named him after General John Coffee. At 19, Hayes reached Texas in 1836, too late for the Revolution's battles but primed for the Rangers' endless skirmishes. Slender at 5 feet 6 inches, with a boyish face and calm demeanor, his piercing gaze masked a mastery over turmoil, rallying men society deemed untamable. J.W. Wilbarger in Indian Depredations in Texas, 1889, recounts Hayes's over 40 undefeated encounters, his dark hair and stature marking him as a coveted Comanche prize. This notoriety made him the perfect guardian for the Enchanted Rock survey, where his resolve would soon face its ultimate test. As the survey team unspooled steel chains across the terrain, marking plots under the looming shadow of Enchanted Rock, Captain Hayes broke off alone, riding toward the 425-foot granite mass for a closer scan of the landscape. No scouts appeared in sight, but hidden among the limestone outcrops and oak thickets, a band of 20 to 30 Comanche warriors, experts in terrain camouflage, had shadowed the group since dawn, waiting for a vulnerability. War whoops split the afternoon air as Hayes neared the base, their high-pitched echoes signaling the trap. Cut off from retreat to his comrades 200 yards away, Hayes urged his horse to the rock's foot, dismounted in a scramble, and clawed up the steep 30 to 45-degree incline, seeking the advantage of elevation. Pursued by warriors driven to claim his scalp, a prized trophy for his renown, Hayes wedged into a narrow crevice, piling loose stones for cover. Armed with his Plankset of the Rostets, .42 caliber percussion cap rifle, and 2 Colt Patterson revolvers loaded for 10 shots, he steadied for the onslaught, as J.W. Wilbarger recounts in Indian Depredations in Texas, 1889. Determined to sell his life at the highest market price. Arrows rained against the granite, but Hayes held his single rifle shot, thrusting the barrel outward to bluff charges and halt advances. This tactic preyed on Comanche doctrine, which, as S.C. Gwynn explains in Empire of the Summer Moon, 2010, favored preservation over costly victories, avoiding mass casualties in pursuits of glory. Frustrated at the impasse on their revered site, the warriors mounted a unified rush, closing the gap with lances raised. Hayes waited until the lead fighter surged within yards, then rose and fired, the lead ball striking true and dropping him amid the charge. The Comanche paused to gauge the loss, then fell back to regroup, carrying their fallen. Seizing the brief lull, Hayes reloaded his rifle and checked his revolver's cylinders. A second, more ferocious assault followed, yells rising in a deafening crescendo as warriors swarmed the slope. Enduring until they neared striking distance, Hayes unleashed 5 rounds from one revolver, the blasts echoing across the hill country and scattering the attackers once more. Bracing for a third wave, Hayes heard the crack of distant gunfire. His comrades, locked in their own skirmish with another Comanche force, had caught the reports from his position and pushed toward the rock. Outnumbered now, the Comanche gathered their wounded and melted into the canyons, leaving several dead on the slopes. Reunited at the base with no casualties among the Texans, as noted on the historical marker at Enchanted Rock, the party tightened their guard and pressed on with their measurements. John Coffee Hayes' stand at Enchanted Rock marked only the start of his storied path. From 1846 to 1848, he led Texas Rangers in the Mexican-American War, commanding pivotal actions like the 1846 Battle of Monterey, his strategies outmaneuvering foes across rugged terrains. Relentless in pursuit of Comanche raiders, Hayes fought over 40 engagements without defeat, as J.W. Wilbarger records in Indian Depredations in Texas, 1889. His valor earned him Comanche monikers Captain Yak and Bravo Too Much titles of respect in a culture where martial prowess reigned supreme, as Pekka Hämäläinen notes in The Comanche Empire, 2008. In 1847, Hayes wed Susan Calvert, daughter of a prominent Seguin hotelier, grounding his turbulent life and family. By 1849, drawn by the California gold rush, he relocated with thousands, carving success as a rancher and merchant. Elected San Francisco sheriff in 1850, he tamed a lawless frontier town. In 1853, after his son John Caperton Hayes was born, a parcel arrived from an unlikely source. Buffalo Hump, a revered Penateca Comanche chief. Inside lay a golden spoon, engraved Buffalo Hump Jr., a rare gesture transcending years of bloodshed, reflecting a shared warrior code amid conquest's toll, as S.C. Gwynn describes in Empire of the Summer Moon, 2010. Hayes's life closed in 1883 at age 66, his body laid to rest in Oakland's Mountain View Cemetery. His saga, woven with skirmishes and triumphs, mirrors the frontier's dual truths. Texan grit pushing borders and the dispossession of tribes like the Comanche, whose numbers plummeted from 40.0 1832 to under 2,000 by 1890 due to war and disease. The Golden Spoon, a bridge between foes, raises questions of what might have been could mutual respect have reshaped a contested land. This golden token, bridging foes in a gesture of humanity, underscores the profound ironies of frontier encounters, where bloodshed yielded unexpected bonds. In honoring the Intusa's resilience and cultural depth, one must ponder, how might acknowledging indigenous sovereignty earlier have altered the trajectory of American history, fostering alliances rather than erasure?